The following should not be attempted at home. At the end of part 2, we were attempting to begin part 3.
When they first announced that we were going to have a blog winner go to Barrow with me, Jackie was very jealous. So we're going to take her with us.
Here we are at the airport in Fairbanks, and we're getting ready to head to Barrow. A lot of people don't realize when you go to Barrow, one of the most important things to take along with you. Scott, what do you got there?
That was a headshot of Jackie Purcell.
This is like an all-access pass at a concert. You can get anywhere with this baby. Hi. Moist in the interior.
It's a serious day.
We are about to experience a part of Alaska that most Alaskans never see. The rural side of Alaska is very different than the city experience. It's a very dynamic and challenging way of life. Once you get to the north side of the Brooks Range, even the topography tells you that life is going to be different.
It is a whopping 62 degrees on the ground right now.
Did you hear that? She said 62 degrees. That's a heat wave in Barrow, and actually I'm kind of relieved considering what we have planned. And Jackie, well, she can barely contain herself. Oh!
Oh! Welcome to Barrow, Jackie. For the first time ever, ladies and gentlemen.
I like Barrow.
For me, this is a return trip. I went through Barrow on the way to Point Lay this spring.
BRW, baby.
Ooh, I want some candy.
It's over 60 degrees in Barrow today, and Wilcox is getting our arrangements all taken care of after we got off the airplane. We are ready to go paint Barrow blue, apparently.
Our host, Mike, arrives.
It's Mike from Barrow.
Mike is a Woody and Wilcox fan via the internet.
These are anniversary mugs.
And apparently he has come bearing gifts.
It's a stout little mug.
Cool.
It must weigh 5 pounds.
Mike sits on the city
I
council.
ran for city council. This is the only sign I put up in the whole town.
Our accommodations for the night are literally right across the street from the airport, and one well-enforced rule keeps the place immaculate. The King Ida Inn caught the attention of the Alaska Business Journal a while back, as it should catch yours if you have any plans on traveling to Barrow. It really is a modern convenience in the middle of a very rural Alaskan atmosphere. And the rooms are definitely competitive with anything you'd see in the big city.
Right.
And while I've been busy getting footage, Jackie's already claimed her side of the bed. Bad Jackie. Our tour begins at one of Barrow's most recognizable landmarks.
The real question is, how far is it to Wilcox's sanity?
When celebrities come into town, one of the first places they like to go is here to get their picture taken in front of this famous sign.
You're going to have a lack of evidence here, Shark.
But our next stop is our first taste of the real Barrow.
$90,000 house, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, indeed.
You heard right. Mike recently sold his house for $90,000.
Tell it's leaning. The wind blows from this side in the house. This is where Zacharias Amacock and his brother have lived for 25 years.
We're not in Kansas anymore.
It's 8 by 12. Yeah, maybe 8 by 16. There's 2 of them living in there. They don't have running water. They got a honey bucket.
Wow.
And two bunks.
Back at Mike's house, we get a glimpse of his art collection.
Whalebone.
And you got to jam that sucker.
Mike basically has a small museum in his house with some of his artifacts dating back hundreds of years. This is an authentic whaling harpoon, and these are real polar bear claws.
Do I look pretty?
Our tour resumes with a stop at the gas station, where you'll spend over $100 for 21 gallons of gas. Which makes the fact that Barrow is only about 18 square miles in size fortunate for most who live here. And speaking of good fortune, it's when we get to the top of the world bridge that I really get a sense of how much Wilcox feels grateful for this experience.
Thoughts from the top of the world, Mr. Wilcox.
Dude, this is beyond words. Barrow is unbelievable.
Agreed.
That's amazing.
Our next stop is the local college, where we are about to have a little Jonah experience.
Here's a great picture. You guys can sit actually in a whale's mouth.
That's right, we are about to place ourselves in the mouth of a bowhead whale. On purpose.
We're getting ready to sit down on a whale jawbone right here. This one they predicted is about 52 feet long when it was alive. That's nothing.
Welcome to Barrow, Jackie. You're sitting in somebody's mouth.
Chris and Mike take a moment to show off the latest Woody and Wilcox fashions.
Morons in front of a whale.
That's right.
Yeah.
Our next stop is easily the most expensive stop on our tour. It's a $500,000 blue AstroTurf field donated by a woman in Jacksonville, Florida. It's safe to say this is probably the only high school football field that's within yards of the Arctic Ocean, the spray sometimes being felt by fans in the stands.
High living out here.
And then it's off to the equivalent of the Hamptons in Barrow, called the Duck Camp, where locals come out during the summer to soak up some rays and shoot ducks as they fly overhead. But if you're looking for a little bit more of a tropical excursion, welcome to the Barrow National Forest.
I'm gonna have Jackie sit on my lap.
Pretty soon hunger was kicking in and we knew exactly where to go for dinner, but Mike suggested one more stop at another one of Barrow's more visually famous landmarks, because Jackie's been complaining a little bit about not having enough pictures for her Facebook page. With her Facebook page now fed, we are heading off to get ourselves fed at Barrow's Mexican restaurant.
Pepe's! Welcome to Pepe's.
That's right, Pepe's north of the border is a place where you can get authentic Mexican food in Barrow. Now be prepared, a 2-taco plate will run you $17.50. But the food is legitimately muy bueno.
Put your name and address there.
That's Fran. She's the owner of the restaurant and a Barrow icon. She's giving Wilcox a certificate for coming north of the Arctic Circle. And that's when I spied my guest book entry from when I was here last on my way to Point Lay's blanket toss.
Nacho!
When our Nacho Supreme arrived, somebody forgot her table manners. To which I quickly instituted a 1 bite for me and 1 bite for Jackie rule. And a memorable meal was had by all. Next on our agenda is a stop at Joe's Museum. But not without first stopping to watch the sunset in America's northernmost city. There's times where the sun never sets here, and there's times where the sun never rises.
You'd set up like a little shrine. Praying to it.
After getting an eye full and a belly full, we're off to Joe's Museum. This is Joe. He also happens to be Mike's brother. Joe operates the museum out of his home, which is easily one of the most eclectic collections of old and not so old artifacts that you'll ever see. But you'll see more of Joe's Museum in Part 4, that along with Wilcox and I's long-awaited polar bear plunge.